Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts about the 40K universe. I am your host Gershwan and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we continue talking about the Orks. It's been a while since we've talked about them, but let's get into the last clan that we have to do, the Deathskulls. If you guys have any suggestions for Ork videos or any Xenos videos, please comment down below. I need your help with what videos to create. Don't forget to put suggestion followed by the topic that you guys would like us to create a video about. So let's get into 40 facts about the Deathskulls. The Deathskulls are an Ork tribe or clan that has a reputation as looters, scavengers, and borrowers. The Orks of the Deathskull clan have a well-deserved reputation as thieves. Never ones to pay for their fair share or spend teeth when an item has been spirited away. The Deathskulls are nearly as mistrusted among fellow Orks as their cousins, the Blood Axes. The Deathskulls are plunderers without equal. Given their ingenuity, most Deathskulls would be capable scientists and excellent engineers if their fascination of new things lasted longer than the time it took them to steal them. The Deathskulls see battles as a two-stage process, often hurrying the killing part in an effort to speed along the scavenging spree that follows. After the battle, the boys really go to work, feverishly stripping the corpses of the fallen of everything from munition to bootlaces. Many Deathskulls will take grisly trophies, such as the victim's scalps or skulls, into the bargain. Only when the loot is returned to the camp does the inevitable fighting break out, as the Deathskulls trade, barter, and auction off their ill-gotten gains. Other Orks are drawn to the Deathskull camps in search of these stolen goods, looking for a specific bit of kit or even something taken from them in the first place. Usually, they leave with less than they came with, as the Deathskulls have an uncanny ability to knock another Ork around the head while going through their pockets at the same time. Deathskulls do not limit their plundering to enemy corpses, and anything that can be taken probably will. Wrecked vehicles are especially popular for this, as the burnt-out hulls of the battle tanks, armored transports, or even flyers are all fair game. Dragged off the battlefield, they can either be broken down for bits or taken to a mech, who will beat some life back into them. It is not a rare occurrence to see Ork armored columns composed not only of trucks and battle wagons, but of looted Leman Russ tanks, Rhino armored personal carriers, and other armored fighting vehicles, with numerous Orkish improvements bolted and slathered in a barbarous paint scheme and iconography. In longer engagements, band blades, the remains of heavy Eldar gravity tanks, and even the occasional Titan has been seen wearing the horned skull of the Deathskulls. Only the evil sons enjoy using fighting vehicles more than the Deathskulls, who love modifying vehicles and stealing the great war machines whenever possible. Once they have stolen something, they personalize it to establish ownership once and for all. This often involves painting it blue, the color which they believe attracts the eye of their gods and protects them from harm. The superstitious Deathskulls even use blue war paint, sometimes going as far as painting themselves blue from head to toe, the night before a battle. They believe the color blue is lucky, and that it attracts the attention in favor of the Ork god Gork and Mork, and thus brings them better fortune on the field of plunder. Given the Deathskull's broad definition of what constitutes personal property, it is little wonder that their clan produces a large number of Ludas. The Ludas from other clans are welcomed with open arms by the Deathskulls as brothers in arms. Most Orks see Deathskulls and Ludas as one and the same, both a bunch of thieving gits one would do well to keep a constant eye on. Ludas are compulsive scavengers who also have a weakness for large guns. They seek out the biggest and best weapons they can carry, often getting mechs to cobble them together into bigger guns, so heavy that they have to balance them on their meaty shoulders. These death guns, as they are dubbed, are among the deadliest weapons an Ork can wield, and in the battle they make a tremendous racket as they tear apart the enemy with bullets, blasts, and bolts. Despite their flighty, schemy nature, the Deathskulls do not turn out a large number of mech boys from their ranks, as their obsession with the object typically expires the moment it is within their possession. However, mechs hold a high status among the clan, as it is these canny Orks who dodge together copious amounts of scraps and gubbins into the deadly weapons, tanks, buggies, and other assorted war gear, which the Deathskulls are in love with. While they can create anything imaginable from the junk brought to them by their brethren, Deathskull mechs are perhaps best known for their incredibly dangerous Ork combi weapons they create from the piles of mismatched weapons they tend to have lying around their workshop. The Deathskulls are also known to have a lot of clever and enterprising Gretchen. As battlefield plunderers and petty camp pilfers, they often get themselves a bad name amongst other clans for selling dodgy gear that is not good enough for the Deathskulls to keep for themselves. Deathskulls are very superstitious and believe that various talismans and charms allow them to manipulate their fate upon the battlefield. Deathskulls often possess unexpected weapons, vehicles, and war machines that they have looted, and the sudden appearance of a particular potent piece of machinery can sometimes turn the tide of battle. Deathskull livery is dark blue and black with white highlights. Everything possessed by Deathskulls, from arms, armor, and vehicles to mundane workshop gear, is slathered in numerous shades of blue in an attempt to court fate. They even paint their proud green skins in a shade of blue to ward off attacks, accidents, wounds, and illness. Like every other strange idea brought about by the orc kind, or confounding piece of equipment carried about their person, painting an item orc blue does seem to have an effect. The Deathskulls are much luckier than other orcs. Their equipment operates much better than any other. Skulls and bones feature predominantly among their kind. For instance, helmets are often cast or fashioned in the form of a grinning skull. Deathskull orcs are commonly seen fested with bone amulets of every kind, pendants, talismans, and cherished bits of long-dead enemies. Some Deathskull warriors wear dozens of enemy ribs laced together to form a kind of breastplate. They often appear in bizarre styles of dress. This results in a ragtag appearance of various items of armor and colored clothing, made up of various race uniforms sewn together. The Deathskull Clan banner is a bone-colored horn skull on a midnight blue flag with white accents. The pole upon which they hoist their colors is typically made up of laced-together skulls and bones of their enemies. The Deathskull Clan sigil is added onto anything its boys have stolen or established ownership over. Sometimes the totem is depicted as a regular skull with horns, or an alternative blue-colored horn skull. One of the most talked about Deathskull was came from the Big Meg Fragrat, the Planet Smasher. This Deathskull Big Meg vowed he would surpass all other Deathskulls by looting an entire world, jerry-rigging a combination of tractor beams and ram ships, and city-sized rocket boosters to push the third move of Tara Brax out of its orbit, directly onto a collision course with its parent world. The resulting catastrophe rendered all life on the thriving Imperial Hive world extinct, fracturing continents, boiling the oceans off into space, and burning away the world's atmosphere, finally reducing the planet to a drifting debris field. Satisfied with his work, Big Mech Planet Smasher takes his pick of his asteroids, adding thrusters, force fields, and ordnance arrays to turn them into a fleet of rocks, which he used to spread even more mayhem across the star system. Another notable Deathskull warlord is Bok Stickyfinger, a rich Deathskull knob who pilots the Gorkanaut known as Blagfist. He stole the war machine purely as a way to ensure he had his best pick of loot. Not a week goes past without Blagfist being equipped with even more firepower, looted from the remains of another blasted battlefield. So successful a thief Bok is, he is an outcast from the Carcharodon Empire, that he refers to himself as the Arch-Larcenist of Carcharodon. Most of his comrades don't get the gag, of course, but this never stops old Bok from having a chuckle. Stickyfinger takes his fighting very seriously. The old Deathskull might have swiped Blagfist as a means to an end, but he has since become quite attached to this armored steed. Indeed, he takes any damage to the mighty walker as a serious personal insult, focusing his anger on those who dare fire upon him. Needless to say, between the Gorkanaut's vast firepower and trampling mass, few foes live to make the same mistake twice. And the final legendary Deathskull Grabber Gutbag is a legendary looter who was so good at habitually liberating vehicles from the enemy. It was said that he could even loot an Imperial Titan and later unleash it on its former commanders. It is seen as the highest of comedies for the Deathskulls to use looted vehicles and equipment against their former owners, causing utter chaos within their ranks. And those were 40 facts about the Deathskulls. And that brings the Ork Clans to an end, I believe. If you have not checked out the other Ork Klan videos, please jump on over to our channel and click the playlist. If not, just wait for the playlist at the end of this video. You have from the Evil Sons, Bad Moons, Feral Orcs, all kinds of awesome clans, snake bites, that's what they're called. Please jump on over to the channel, subscribe, and check those videos out. Don't forget to like this video. It really helps out the channel if you guys hit the like button. And again, thank you guys so much. We're almost to 40K subscribers. And when we reach 40K, we're going to have a massive giveaway. So stay tuned, guys. Don't go too far. That's it. Thank you for liking, commenting, and sharing. This was Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.